and welcome to Bethan's Kitchen and Garden. Today I'm going to be starting work in the front garden. So let me show you what I need to get done. This two-step bed here needs a good weed, and then I'm going to put straw along here. I've got tomatoes growing in here as well as onions. So I'm going to put straw down as a mulch because these beds in the front get really dry, and I need to take all this anti-rhinum out because I overwintered them. I didn't know how well they would overwinter, but now they've definitely had it. So I want to take all those out, plant some sunflowers that have self-seeded themselves in the back garden in here, and run in the irrigation system as well. I've sorted this bed out now. I've run in my irrigation system. I've put the sunflowers and lupins that I want to grow at the back there. I've covered it in straw to keep as much of the moisture in as I can, and I've staked up the tomatoes. Well, I've put in a frame for the tomatoes and running the irrigation system on that level too. So I do still have a couple of sunflowers in this bed that I do need to move. Okay, I'm going to harvest my carrots. These are the pots I planted in February. Some of them have gone to seed, so I'm going to leave the ones that have gone to seed for a bit. So that, for me, is a good carrot. Yeah, I'm going to leave the ones that have gone to seed for a bit because I might grow them on to get my own seed. But I'm kind of thinking that carrots go to seed in their second year, so I don't really want to have this pot on the go for 2 years, as it were. So I'll have a look and see. This variety is Nance. Egads, a weed, another weed. Right, what have we got? Flower, flower, flower. So this pot was last year's compost, last year's potato compost with just some bloodfish and bone in it, and that was all that was in it. So I think that's quite good for just a bit of bloodfish and bone and last year's compost. Let's add it to the harvest I've done earlier. Here is this week's harvest. I've done it earlier. I normally do it at the start of the video, but it's so hot at the moment. I just did it first thing this morning, otherwise we wouldn't have got anything. So I've got 2 more kohlrabi. They are a good size, I think, for kohlrabi. They're meant to be about tennis ball size, and that's kind of tennis ball size. And I've got kohlrabi leaves as well, which are great. You just use them like a kale, so they work really well in pasta dishes or curries or stir fries. I say stir fries a lot. I very rarely have a stir fry. These are the first picking of tayberries, which is great. I use this to make wine from and jam if I've got some left over, and I just open freeze those and then put them in a bag and add to them as the season goes on until I've got enough. Here is some broccoli. Some of it has started to flower, but the rest of it is looking good, and the flower ones are fine too. I've got Bill and Val's first picking of their Kent blue peas. I'm looking forward to having them this week. And the first outdoor tomatoes as well, these are from my Tumbling Toms. I've got 3 outdoor tomatoes, so I'm very happy about that. My first picking of actual spring onions this year instead of those ones that were masquerading as spring onions. And these are meteor peas, so these are just garden peas that I will shuck, if that's the right word, or take out of their pods anyway and blanch them and freeze them. These are the broad beans, small picking of broad beans this week. I have to sort the broad beans out. I think I'm going to take them out, in all honesty. They're not producing very good at all. This crop of potatoes is from 3 seed potatoes, and they are Swift, variety is Swift. Really happy with those. As people know, or maybe you don't know, I'm not very good with potatoes to date, so for me this is a really good crop. These are sugar snap peas. We are going to be eating these all week, so any recipes for them would be appreciated. And there's the carrots you just saw me unearth, as it were. Then the first picking of courgettes. These are, well, I think these are a good size for us, really. I think that they probably could go a bit, grow a bit more, but actually if you get in 5 off 2 plants, then that's a good size for me. And strawberries. I'm harvesting about this amount every 2 or 3 days, so I don't always show the strawberry harvest. Trying to find more jobs to do in the shade, and this is a great job to be getting on with, because I need to run this into my irrigation system essentially. So I'm going to get my soaker hose and attachments and run sort of like a snake through here, so that it gets watered with the rest of my beds, and it's one less thing for me to have to worry about of an evening. My irrigation system is a soaker hose, so essentially I plug that into water, and then water seeps out of the holes that you can't see in here, but there are holes, and it just gradually waters the bed. Let me get the connectors so I can talk you through how I'm going to do it. So here are the connectors that I use for my soaker hose. So we've got just a normal connector that fits in there, and then that joins them two together like that, if that makes sense. Then you've got an L-shaped one if you want to go and do sort of like a turn, as it were. You've got your end stop, which stops the water flowing out of the end of the hose. Then you've got your T connector, which is a really good one. I'll be using this one here because I will cut this hose pipe, put the T in there, and then the hose pipe that's going to lead to that bed will come off this direction and lead around here, around the brick, around there, and then pop up in the corner of that bed there. And then I've got this one, which I've not actually used, but it's got a valve on it. So I was thinking if I wanted it to do my raspberry and blueberry bed, because ideally you want to use tap water for them, but when my tap water runs you want to use rainwater for them. So when my water butts are really low, I might want to use tap water for them, so I can include them or not include them with the valve, so to speak. And then this is my timer, so it's set up for 15 minutes to come on at 6:30 at night for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday at the moment. And if it rains, then I just turn that off for that one day, and it doesn't water anything then. You know when you think a job is going to be really hard and then it turns out to be really quite simple and you do it really quickly? That was one of those jobs, which doesn't often happen, does it? But I'm really pleased. Let me show you how it's turned out. So I'm not entirely sure why, but I always think that running in this irrigation system is going to be quite time consuming, and it isn't really. It's quite straightforward. I've just got these little clips that hold it into the ground. I didn't show you them earlier, but I'm showing you them now. In my other bed, those main beds over there, I've actually run the hose under the soil, the compost, so it never actually gets wet on top because it's like about that much under the ground. But I'm going to dig that up because if anything goes wrong with this, then if it's on top, I can see where the problem is. Like sometimes the connectors might snap off and then, you know, you haven't got the water running through this connector, and if it's under the soil, I won't be able to see that. So that will be a job that I'll do probably in the winter now, unless something goes awry. But I also wanted to show you, I just pulled back some of the straw. The carrots that I sowed in this bed have come through, which is great. I didn't know if they would germinate with this really warm weather, but yes, so we'll cover them back over, and hopefully this will get watered tonight without me having to watering can it. I'm back in the front garden now, and the first job I want to do is to plant more leeks along here and then put some straw down to cover them. I would like to run my irrigation system in, but I'm not sure if it's going to work through the potatoes at the moment, so I'll see about that. But I also would like to put some straw down all over this bed, really, just to keep the moisture in for the asparagus. And speaking of the asparagus, it's all beginning to flop over, so I need to support the asparagus now as well. I also have this area here where the grapevine is. I made a start with running in the wires, and then I sort of run out really. So I have got a few more of those turnbuckles now, that's what they're called, and it just allows you to tighten the wires easier. You can get good tautness on the wires, and then once I've run in the wires this way, I can have a look at what's going on with all this vine foliage here, and I might end up cutting a lot out and leaving just a few to run on, but I'm not quite sure about that yet. And then another job I need to do is the same as I did with the other bed, where I'm taking out all this old anti-rhinum and I'm going to put in the sunflowers that have self-seeded themselves. So I will be doing that all along here. Oh look, I've had a June drop of the apples, which is good. And yeah, and I'll do the same with this. So I'll put sunflowers in there and take out the weeds and the pansies as well. These poppies have self-seeded themselves. This one still hasn't come to flower yet, but these ones are well and truly over. So I want to take out those and add them to the compost pile. And then my melons, which I'm pleased to say are going great guns, I need to put in the sort of support to run along the top. So I want to put in a bit of wood this side and the same the other side, and then I'll just run some trellis netting across, and then when the melons get up high enough they can just find their own way across the trellis netting. I do need to do that soon because those melons are really romping away. similarly I need to do the same with these melons here. I need to put some trellis netting in, so I need to trim the garlic and I'll just leave it on top without it poking through, so then I can hook the trellis netting underneath there, and I might have it to run all the way around, and then this cucumber can also use it. And I need to do the same this side. These melons are doing really well though, so hopefully I can get this trellis netting done, which will allow them to climb up. So I'll get on with those jobs and I'll show you the results when I'm done. I got the extra leeks into this bed, and I have just harvested one foremost plant from here, so I've just put in another 2 leeks there, but I will continue to harvest more of those plants later on. It's just that it's gone quiet at the moment, so I thought I'd do a vlog while the wind has died down. I have put up some supports for the asparagus, so that's looking quite nice now. It's looking more tidy, and I'm a bit concerned about my onions because they look like they've been swept away, as it were. You know, they've been sort of swept over with the wind, and I hope that they're still going to grow and they haven't bolted this early, because I really would like them to bulb up a bit more. They're a bit small at the moment, so I really would like them to grow a bit more. The necks don't look like they've snapped, you know, like they've flopped over. Well, that one does. I don't know if that's where it's been blown over with the wind or not, but anyway. So I did get this bed mulched as well, and my cat is not very helpfully digging it up over there when she wants to go to the toilet. I haven't run in my irrigation system yet. That's the only thing I haven't done. I've tidied this area up. I've run in the other strings across there, and I've drastically cut away a lot of the vines at the bottom. So at the moment we've only got 4 branching vines with no fruit on any apart from this one here. So I think I'm going to keep all 4 to become the sort of primary canes, and then the fruit will grow off them. That's my thinking. And this one, I think I'm probably going to cut that off and see whatever grows longest from there, and that will become the primary one next year, because it doesn't look like this one is doing very much at all. And I also took away a lot of the dead foliage from my potatoes, so they are looking a bit healthier now. And these shallots, they've completely all died away. Oh, that's dahlia tubers which I moved, and I found them on the floor over there once I moved the plants, because I wanted to put these sorry looking sunflowers in here, and I wanted to take the dahlias out because they've never done very well there. And I put the dahlias in here along with some sunflowers. I have also taken away those poppies that I was talking about. I left the other ones in place, but now they have seeded as well. So I'll take those out next. Now I did get around to putting in the trellis netting, and that was all working out very well, but the top of this has broken. It got swept up when we had some really bad wind, so the plastic sheet is broke, but also the where the hinges connect there, they have broken in certain places too. So what I need to do is completely replace this top with some polycarbonate, which I think I've got some lying around, and also I wanted to make it more sloping anyway, so I could put a drain pipe at the back and put a slim water butt down here, so then I could use the water from here to water my blueberries and raspberries there. So this was a job that sort of wasn't imminent, but now is, because I kind of want to fix it before it damages the melons in any way. But they are looking good in there. My asparagus bed had a few volunteer asparagus plants, and I think I mentioned when I was doing my tour that a few spaces are missing some asparagus plants, so I will use the spares to plug the gaps wherever they are. And then finally I got around to doing the netting in here as well. So the melons are now getting away. What I did was I took off a few of the bottom leaves just so that the plant would sort of establish itself down there, and then where these flowers are now, I will leave them to side shoot. Hopefully that's right. My cucumber, this is the strongest it's grown in the last few years. I've got a couple of cucumbers coming on here, so that's really encouraging. And the same with this side. I've done the trellis net in there. This melon plant's a little bit behind, but there always are a few plants that are a bit behind, aren't there? So that's done. And then there's the garlic that was that side. My chilli plant's doing well. And then there's the garlic that side. So thank you for joining me this week to see what I've been doing in my garden. I'm very happy with the work I've done, and all I can say about my jobs today is lovely job, and take care everybody.